Hello, everybody. Jack Olmsted coming to you from Port Townsend. I'm going to be talking with Christopher Edler. He's in Port Hadlock, and we're going to review a game that's happened today at Nationals. How are you doing today, Christopher?
I'm doing pretty well. Been busy all day. Looking forward to doing this. It's going to be a little unorthodox. I'm from a different universe of pickleball, so my comments won't be the standard ones. But of course, if you want standard ones, there's plenty of places to go find those.
This is the internet age. You can find lots and lots of comments.
Exactly. Okay.
On a variety of topics.
All right, let's get on to the video.
Why don't you talk about when you first started playing pickleball?
1973. My uncle put a couple of courts in near his house, near Shelton, Washington. He had just played at the original court on Bainbridge Island, Barney McCallum and what's his face, and came back all excited about it, put in 2 courts. And that summer when I went up to visit my mom, who lived next to him, I got introduced to the game and fell in love with it, basically. A lot of fun, like halfway between ping pong and tennis. You know, got to run around like in tennis, but not so much court to cover, and got the giggles like in ping pong. So it was like ideal. Full body workout and lots of laughs. So that's how I got started. Did that every summer for a couple of weeks every summer, and then put a court in my backyard in LA eventually, and played every weekend, you know, anywhere from like 3 to 8 hours a day on the weekends. And a friend of mine had some sports nuts who were like really athletic, invited him over, and we had some really great games.
And you videotape some of those games and you put them on your YouTube channel.
Right, I have some games I videoed in LA, some up near Shelton over on my uncle's courts. Those are the ones that are on my YouTube channel, Christopher L. Edler, C-H-R-I-S-T-O-P-H-E-R, middle initial L, E-D-L-E-R.
We'll put a link to your channel in the description below this video.
All right, so anyway, I've got about 3 6-minute best of videos taken from each of them taken from a 2-hour videotape, so they're not great quality, but the points make up for the poor video quality, because the points are some pretty good stuff. Anyway, but if you look at them, you'll see that it's much different than it's played today. Not nearly as much dinking. Today's game is like, you know, 60–80% dinking, and in our day we played like maybe 20% dinking, and the rest was, you know, hitting hard. So it was more like tennis, actually. A lot of people, I think, came from a tennis background that came to play. Anyway, I still play that way. I enjoy that more than dinking. I'm not that. I don't get that much enjoyment out of the dink game. So that's basically it. And played some tennis. Go to New Zealand every year and had some professional coaching there in tennis, and brought the stuff I learned from the tennis coaching into pickleball. The strokes, basically, it's same physics, ball, paddle versus rackets, you know, different length and weight and so forth, different bounce heights and so forth. But other than that, the physics is pretty much the same. So I just used what I learned in tennis for tennis strokes, hitting pickleball strokes. And I've noticed that some of the strokes that I've learned in tennis basically aren't used in most of the pro pickleball. I can't really quite understand why. But maybe if I played against a 5.0 player, I'd get it. But until that happens, I'm not worried about it. I just have fun doing what I'm doing.
So let's check out this 5.0 game that happened today in Casa Grande, Arizona, between Scott Moore, Glen Peterson, and they're up against Brian Staub and Steve Dawson. And let's just get right to it. And I can use the YouTube editing keys to go fast forward. And here we are. Steve Dawson is in the far court, serving to Scott Moore and to Glen Peterson. And we are joining this game in progress. The person that recorded it, Rich Geenan, I guess wasn't there at the very beginning. So we're going with what we got. And thank you very much, Rich, for making these videos. He does an awesome job. You can see back here behind the courts, this guy right here He's with the USAPA, and he is getting his video set up for the live feed. And this person over here, I think he is a photographer shooting some stills for the USAPA, probably for the magazine. So here's the point. This here is Scott Moore in the hat, in the white hat, Glen in the black hat. Over here is Brian, and he is serving to Glen. And he served it out. We'll go on to the next point. This is Steve Dawson. So what do you think here?
Well, you know, I see some mishits, quite a few of them. I don't know if you want to try and take a look at an individual mishit and see what they're doing to see if we could figure out what's going wrong, whether it was you know, an unforced error or whether somebody had such a good shot they couldn't get it back. I don't know quite what you want to talk about.
Well, let's talk about the shot selection. Let's talk about the strokes. Whatever comes to mind. I mean, we're just going to watch this video here. Scott hit a little third shot drop over there, and that goes out. So we'll just keep going until we find something of interest here. Here, Scott Moore is going to be serving. Scott does a backhand serve and a forehand serve. That's a forehand serve. It was pretty deep in the court. You see that's
yeah, and that? I think that's good. That's a good move.
And it's to his back. It's to the backhand too. Brian's backhand.
Right, and forces a short shot, so they have a chance to hit it at his feet. But again, there's a mistake. Now, why is that a mistake? Why didn't it go over the net? That's an easy shot, right?
Well, I think it didn't go over the net because here, one of the cardinal rules that Scott broke is he's moving as he's hitting the ball. He's not. He doesn't. His momentum.
He stopped. No, he stopped. He stopped there.
But his momentum is carrying him forward, and he's
well, as he's stroking the ball, but he's stepping off his back foot into the ball, which is, you know, that's pretty standard. The thing that happened was, number one, he had a short follow through, and his follow through wasn't up. His follow through was to the side, so he didn't get much lift, and so he didn't lift the ball over the net.
Okay.
That's the issue there. If you were to do frame at a time, you'd see that instead of following through up to lift the ball, he's slicing across it. He's got a really almost a horizontal paddle as he's striking the ball. So you don't get much forward momentum off of that. So do a frame at a time.
We can go frame at a time here.
Yeah, so he starts nice, but look at that. He's slicing the ball really, you know, once he hits it, he's basically turning the paddle under. So that's basically a slice. And look at how far the follow through goes. It only goes up to about there, a little higher. But if you watch a tennis player hitting a ball, they follow through up over their shoulder. Even if they're not hitting the ball particularly hard, they'll follow through fully to make sure that they get, the racket head speed they're trying to get on the ball, whether it's a slow, medium, or fast speed, by following through fully up over your shoulder. At contact, you get about the right velocity of the paddle hitting the ball that you want. If you're slowing the paddle down like he did as he's approaching the ball, it's really easy to mistime the ball contact with the speed you want to be hitting the ball with, the paddle speed. You know, that slowing down is what causes that. It causes that mistiming. That happens in tennis as well.
Oh, so I see what happened with this. See, they were recording this game, and they took all the equipment over to this other court.
I see.
Because this is where the 5.0 19+ match is going to be played.
Gotcha.
And you're going to see a lot of people gather around here as this match progresses.
Gotcha.
So anyway, you find out all these little things when you stop and start these games.
Gotcha.
So there is a little third shot drop that Scott is doing. And again, look, you want to comment on his shot here? It's coming back right here.
Well, he's got a fairly short backswing, but he's not going to be hitting the ball hard, so that's probably why he's doing a short backswing. He's opening the face to the paddle to get the ball to go up. In tennis, typically what they do is they do a vertical paddle and windshield wiper finish to get the lift instead of doing the tipping the paddle up like he just did.
And
that seems to be standard for pickleball tournaments. Is they use an open face to get the ball to go up instead of vertical paddle face with low to high.
And you notice his weight on his body. He's lifting his leg up too.
His front leg, yeah.
Trying to get the lift. And then you see how low Brian gets down to this ball.
Right, but watch his follow through. Watch his follow through. So watch his follow through on hitting that shot. Very short follow through.
He's not putting any. He's just letting the ball hit his paddle basically, and he's pushing it up a little bit.
Right. So the short follow through, I'm sure he's doing it in order to have a short ball over the net, not to have it go too deep.
And then here we got Scott coming back, and he's slicing it a little bit. He's putting a little spin on the ball. You see that?
Right
see
there.
How his paddle? Yeah. See how his paddle?
In the pink shirt?
No, the one in the white shirt who's hitting the ball. That's Scott.
Yeah.
He's coming. He's throwing a little bit of side spin to the ball that gets it over the net.
Right. Yeah. That video you did with Mark Renison, Mark was talking about the backspin. The slicing is to keep the ball from rising. That's the way to have the ball not rise so much after the bounce, which you can see that didn't bounce much there, not bouncing much there. So they're slicing it to keep the ball low. That's the same thing that's done in tennis. They do the same thing in tennis. If they want the ball to stay low, they slice it. Now that wasn't a slice, and that got a bit of a higher bounce.
And that wasn't a slice, and that popped it up a little bit.
Right. Well, part of that is he's used to the low bounces. That one is a high bounce, and so it was hard to. He didn't judge it in time. That's why he got the extra lift. But his opponent didn't take advantage of it. Maybe
high enough bounce. Going cross court again.
Yeah, they're just waiting for somebody to make a mistake to pop it up a little bit, or just hit it into the net. That's just they're waiting. I personally find this not very exciting when I do it. I don't enjoy doing this that much because it's just slow, dink, 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 dink. I'd much prefer to have some fast hitting. Now here he's popping it up. Bad move.
Yeah, he got in trouble when he tried to get aggressive.
Yeah, so go back and see what happened there.
Yeah, right here. He started Scott right here. He got aggressive.
That's setting it up. That's setting it up. Well, he's gotten it too high, and then it gets right at his feet.
And then he comes back.
Not to pop it up. And then his opponent jammed him.
Yep.
His opponent jammed him. That was the problem there. That's why he had trouble with that one. His opponent did a great
pace.
job. Yeah.
Okay. Here, person over here in the pink, Steve, he's going to be serving.
Smart did it down the middle.
He tried a third shot, but it was a little too long. They're going just over the net. And here we go, cross court.
So they're succeeding basically in keeping the ball low, except for there. Another high ball.
Now really high ball. That's just going
out. Yeah. Because you're doing this a bit slow-mo, it's really hard to tell how difficult those shots are. I'm sure they're a lot harder than they look at slow-mo.
Right. Now look at that return.
That was out. It looked out to me, but I don't know. Can you tell? Is that out?
Yeah. Oh no, that's way in.
Really? No, I don't see it bounce.
Coming. Bounces right.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. I saw
right
it.
There.
Frame, do a comma, and you can back it up. Frame.
But it really pushed
close.
Steve way back because it was such a deep return, and now Scott is keeping him back. In the back court, and that's coming.
Trying to drop it.
Trying to drop it is coming too high. And now they're in pretty bad position. They're both in the back, and that was an error. That was an unforced error on Scott's part. It's going out of the court. He hit it out.
He had to stretch for it, so it's slightly forced. To me, if it's easy shot, that's an unforced error. If you made to stretch a bit, and again, this is at slow-mo. Slow-mo, it's an unforced error, but in regular speed, it might be a forced error.
So this is a lob, an attempt at a lob, which didn't turn out too well.
What wasn't deep enough?
Right in the middle of the court and right to his forehand. He doesn't have to do much with that.
And if you go back up to the start of that guy's overhead. Back, yeah, okay. So go up and pause it. Okay, pause it and do like a frame at a time now. So he's backing up. He's got a front foot and a back foot. That's classic tennis overhead. He's getting his left arm up. That's classic tennis overhead. And as he strokes it, he's pulling his left arm across his stomach. Watch this. See, he's pulling his left arm across his stomach. Classic tennis overhead, counter rotation. That's why he hit such a great shot. Balances the the rotation of the right arm by throwing his left arm across his stomach. Very well done. Very good overhead. Classic.
You know, this is just kind of a lobbying serve.
Yeah, he's trying to do a change of pace. That's a good thing to do.
Well, that's not going to work against these guys right in the middle of the court. He's like got his whole weight behind it, and he's just smashing it back. That's coming with a lot of pace to his backhand.
Right.
Where's it going? It goes into the net.
Yeah.
That serve didn't have a chance.
Well, the changeup is good, but he needs it to be a bit deeper. Go back and show how shallow the serve was.
The serve, it goes right in the middle of the court. So Scott is just coming up. It's like, okay, here we go.
It's toward the front of the service box, which is like, that's way too shallow, especially with that high of a bounce.
And bam, he hits it with pace right to his backhand, and he's moving up.
Yeah. But the fault was that the serve was nowhere near deep enough if you have that high of a bounce. The closer to the net you are with a high bounce, the more of an angle, deep angle you can get into the court. The net is less of an impediment.
So you can see how Steve gets ready for the ball. As soon as he sees it coming to his backhand, and he moves his feet. Look how his footwork is.
You're talking about on this side, on the right?
This side right here.
Net, the guy who just hit the ball.
The one in the pink shirt. When it comes back, watch his footwork.
He's hitting a forehand.
Right, he's hitting a forehand. Yeah. Look at his footwork. It's coming, and he's moving his feet. He's getting down low.
Yeah, he's going to pretty much a neutral stance, which is good. That makes the shot as easy as possible.
And then he just lifts it up with his legs and his arm, and he's watching the ball. Look at his eyes. His head isn't up. He's
Yeah,
watching,
he's watching the ball. That's very good.
And look at his left hand. His left hand is giving him some balance here too.
Okay,
it's
what
not
does he
just
do with it on the follow through? What does he do with it on a follow through?
Well, we can do this frame by frame.
Frame of 10. Okay.
I mean, that's just he's not trying to hit a shot. He's trying to get a softball in the kitchen.
Right.
And that's what this is. But look at it. As soon as he hits it up,
then he comes up
in the air. He's running forward.
Once he realizes it's going to be hopefully in the kitchen and a fairly low bounce, hopefully then he can come up.
And here it comes.
Right. So it's just at the end of the kitchen,
right
and it's
right
low bounce. Right between them. Perfect shot. Perfect shot right between his opponents.
Well, yeah, Scott Moore here is playing this side of the court, not giving Glen that much room to work with. So I think if Scott wasn't that aggressive, Glen here in the black hat could have got that ball earlier with his backhand. And but that's just the way they're playing.
Well, they may be playing forehand gets the middle shot. I don't know.
He had to move. He had to move. He had to move. You take a look at.
Yeah, well, yeah, he did. But if they've agreed that the forehand gets the middle shot, then he's going to step over and get it.
Take a look.
Yeah, he's not going to stand in the middle of his court and try and reach all the way over the center of the line to get it. He's going to move over. That's smart of him to move.
Here it comes.
Exactly. That's typically the stronger shot is the forehand. Now,
it's behind him.
Well, it would have been way behind him on the backhand. The backhand one-hander you hit farther out in front than you hit a forehand, so it would have been much worse for the backhand.
Here they're just dinking it around.
Yeah, he's always slicing it to keep the ball bounce slow, which he succeeds at doing. Nice fall on the ball. Fairly low bounce. Nice low bounce. It's hard to be aggressive. That's a little higher bounce. Maybe gonna happen. Yeah, a little higher.
I just really like Steve over here, Steve Dawson.
Yeah.
He's just so smooth looking with his strokes,
Yeah.
Just very, very pretty.
Smooth is good. This is not overhead again. Nope, not an overhead. But
it's coming too fast.
Well, there's an example of how the backhand. It's harder for the backhand. You don't get as much reach with a one-handed backhand.
Well, also he could have been thinking that Scott was going to move in there, and he kind of did it kind of at the last minute because he knew.
And in fact,
he didn't have the time to get there.
And in fact, his partner has moved over toward the center and could have gotten that.
Well, see his leg right here. It stops, but it pushes him back to the left a little bit.
Right.
So he was out of balance to get that ball.
Well, so why was he starting to step left? Maybe he was afraid he was leaving too big of a gap on his sideline there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. That's the case. So if you commit, you got to commit. If you move, commit. If you're going to the right, commit to the right. Don't second guess it. That's always the problem there.
Yeah, he couldn't get his paddle up.
Yeah.
So Glen got it up there and just got it late.
Yeah. The backhand is much harder reach than the forehand for that downhill shot. So I don't blame him for having trouble with that. So what's with this serve? Much deeper and lower bounce. That's good. Slicing it.
Slicing it to his backhand side, but Scott is taking it with his forehand.
Taking it in the air, so it wasn't quite short enough.
In the air, and he's keeping him back. See?
So there's a nice short one, so that he had to take it off the bounce. Yeah.
And they're not moving as a wall. You've got one of them up here at the line and the other one back, so you got a big gap right here.
Right.
Which is pretty dangerous to do.
Well, since he didn't make it to the net, he's got to stay back until he's got the time. Otherwise, the guy can hit it right at his feet. Okay, well, what happened with that one? How come that one didn't go over? Let's back it up, do frame at a time.
It's coming down.
Okay, frame at a time. Now what's going on here?
He's reaching.
Part of it, you can't quite see it, but it's one more frame.
Okay.
So he's hit it. He's hit it. Now look at the follow through. Look at the follow through. The follow through, the paddle stops really prematurely. See that? He says almost no follow through, so he's not getting any punch, and that doesn't make it over the net. That's a common problem.
I don't think he's really punching it.
No, he's not. That's why it's not going over the net. He should punch it. He doesn't have to hit it soft because his opponent that he's hitting to is way past the back line. So there's no reason to try and just dink it just over the net unless he's trying to win the point outright, which he might be trying to do. But there, no follow through. That's the problem. That's a really common problem. I see that all the way up to 5.0. If they don't follow through, it's very tough to get a ball that you're trying to get real short to go over the net.
And it looks like Brian and Steve won that game. So let's just go a little bit into the second game. Okay, here we go.
Okay, how deep is the serve?
Well, it's kind of hard to see.
Yeah.
Well, it's a mid-court. Here it comes, right there.
Yeah, that's mid-court. That's decent. And especially for a low bounce. If it's got a low bounce, that's plenty deep for a low bounce. Very conservative, right in the center of the service box, so you're not worried about hitting it out.
Coming to Scott's backhand, and Scott is again just lifting the ball with a little spin. See that little spin move that he does with his paddle?
Right, and again, a very short follow-through.
Short follow-through.
Underspin, short follow-through. Yeah. Very short follow-through. That's tough to time. So, if you're really on, and it works, and you think, oh, this works, that's the way to hit it. But you get the least bit off, and it's really easy to mistime those. Nice low bounce, nice low bounce. Slice, catches it in the air, get a little advantage, get it early, getting him out of position. Hopefully,
that was around the post.
Right,
but it was around the post.
It was beautiful around the post, but
Brian is right there
and
waiting
his opponent
for
was ready for it, and his opponent's partner didn't cover it.
He got it.
He got it, but he's left a big hole open as long as they don't mess it up.
That's right.
And guy in pink, great, nice, just enough shot, not overhitting. That's really mature. That's the way to hit it.
So the around the post works if you surprise your opponent. If your opponent knows it's coming, it's
that was the reason. Yeah, well, that was basically that wasn't an impossible shot. So his opponent had to anticipate him getting it in because he's a good player. So he's got to cover it, and he covered it really well. And he didn't overhit. He didn't overhit. His opponent was able to get it, but they were both out of position at that point, leaving the whole right half of the court open.
And Steve Dawson right here in the pink, he's serving, and his paddle is up to his head. This is where he starts his service motion right here.
Right, and his index finger is on the back side of the paddle. That's certainly ain't a tennis grip.
That's right. But that's where he starts, and that's actually where I start my service motion, is with the paddle right above my head, because I can whip it. I'm just going to point that out a little bit. When
I'm feeling rambunctious, I hold it above my head to start. So I fully approve. Nice getting the racket paddle back early.
He's getting in position. He's moving his feet. I mean, he's got really nice feet, balance, and look at his left arm. His left arm is up. He's right in the ball, so he's in perfect balance.
Yeah, very nice.
And that's a third shot drop. He's just lifting it up. Look at his follow through, though. It's a lot different than Scott Moore. He's coming up. He's lifting with his legs, and he just does a little punch that lifts it up.
Yeah.
And Scott's going to try and keep him back.
Right. That's backhand. He slices it back. Short.
It's high. It's high. Is it going to bounce high?
A bit high, but a little bit low because he sliced it. That was a shallower shot.
Pushes it over to Brian.
Nice.
Back to Scott. Why they
give
are
him a chance to come in because it's short. Nice opportunity to come in. Come on, keep coming in, and he does. He keeps the down the line cut off. Stays to the left there to keep that down the line cut off. Well done. Change up, goes cross court back. Catches it on a fly. Is it high? Nope, it's low enough. And then he gets set up. Oh, and he reads it really well. That's a tough one because he's close to the net. That was a tough one to judge. Very well done. Serve is mid-court, but low. Nice high bounce there, but he gives him plenty of time to get in.
See, he's putting a lot of topspin on this. Watch it come down. He's just throwing a lot of topspin.
Yeah, it's kind of it's still an open face, so it's not a classic tennis topspin. That's kind of a weak topspin.
He's not rolling his wrist. He's just pushing the paddle up to give it a little spin. He did it right there again.
Yeah, but it's a very weak topspin. Actually, that's more like an underspin, isn't it? Isn't that an underspin? Frame at a time. Frame at a time.
He's going low to high.
Yeah, but look at the paddle. He's opening the paddle face. See that? He's opening the paddle face.
But he's throwing a little spin on it.
Okay. Yeah, it's a very
and a little top spin. It's not side spin. It could be
weak. No, it's a weak top spin. That was what I first thought.
Okay.
And the reason I say weak topspin is when you open the paddle face, in order to get a strong topspin, you have to swing the paddle really hard. And with an open paddle face, it's going to go long if you swing hard. So it's got to be a weak topspin. There's again, that looks like it was an underspin. Too high though. That's too high. Good reactions, everybody. Nice low ball there. Nice low one. And I'm saying weak topspin, not because it's like, he's a weak guy, but that's the intent, is you don't want to hit a strong one because it'll go long. You have to hit the weak topspin to try and keep it from going too long or too high. Is that going over? No.
Yep.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Here is
good timing. Lob. And he's successful. If it goes in, it looks like it went in. Went in. Slice. Trying to keep it low. Succeeds.
They have him back. They're trying to keep him back.
Right, he comes halfway in. What's he going to do now? Are they going to hit to his feet? No. Hit to his opponent. Down the middle. Nice get. Nice get. Right.
He didn't think the ball was coming back. As soon as he hit
I see, right. Well, go back to his opponent's shot there. You go back to that one. Yeah, go back. Let's watch it from
as soon as he hits this, he doesn't think it's coming.
He thinks it's gone. He thinks it's over.
And it comes back and it just surprises him. It's like, what?
Yeah.
What?
And again, no follow through. Back that up and watch his follow through there. You frame at a time on his follow throughs. So start frame at a time. Oops, yeah. So frame at a time on the follow through. Okay, so now watch So he's not taking the paddle back very far, just reasonable for a short shot. But watch where the follow through ends. See the paddle? You can still see the paddle. He just go a couple more. So I think the paddle maybe ended up around chest height. You don't see come around. Well, there it's fine. No, what is that? Oh,
here it is. It's right here.
That's the ball. That's the ball. Yeah. So his paddle, he didn't follow through very much. So what happens to the ball?
The ball goes into the net.
Exactly, because he didn't follow through enough.
He just kind of punched it a little.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he was worried probably about hitting it too far, and so he stopped his follow through. But the way to hit a softer shot is not to stop the follow through, because it's really easy to mistime the velocity at ball contact. But what you do is to have a longer follow through, but don't swing so hard.
But I question his judgment here, because if you've got this guy who just made this incredible shot here,
right
on his heels, his back is to you, and then you're going to go, okay, I'm going to hit it to the guy who's closest to me that's already in position.
Well, again, he didn't expect it to come back. Then
why doesn't he send it back? Why doesn't he send it back
to the forehand
to Glen,
cross court? Yeah,
to keep him on his heels. I mean, that was a missed opportunity for him.
He was just probably surprised and didn't think he didn't have enough time to think of what to do with it.
Well, that's what happens in these games.
Yeah.
He's moving so fast that your reaction.
I hate to say it's kind of a rookie mistake. As a rookie, when you hit a good shot, you don't expect it to come back, because you're hitting against rookies, so it doesn't come back. And you practice that for years, as a rookie, and then when you get better, there's still that memory of, oh, I hit a great shot, it's not coming back, and then you continue to be shocked well past when you shouldn't be shocked anymore. It still happens to me occasionally. So yeah, nice cross court. Really nice. Oh, let's go back that one up. Let's go back that one up and see how that one gets set up well.
Well, he gets it on the fly. The problem is that Scott Moore right here hit the ball. It's not falling in the kitchen. It's falling outside the kitchen.
Exactly. And his partner is coming into the center line, leaving that whole angle of the court open.
The ball came way too high.
Look at the see, he came way too far to the center, and he left that big alley open.
That's true.
Yeah.
Whoops.
And that's what got him. You can see that's what got him. As a result, he couldn't reach. He's not been able to reach us. He's waiting too long before he starts moving over, and yeah, he's too late. He's too late getting to the ball. So he wasn't covering his half court. And part of that was probably to pressure his opponent. Let's put a solid front, because the ball's over to his opponent's forehand. Okay, so new point. Nice and deep return. Too deep. He's able to get it at his feet potentially. No, too deep. Cross court. Oh, nice short shot. Sliced it. Keep it low. Change direction on that. Now that was more of a classic topspin from tennis. His paddle face remained vertical. So back it up to that one. Back it up to that. One more. Okay, so watch his paddle face. Vertical paddle face. That's classic. That's classic topspin. Keeping the paddle face vertical. So you can punch it if you want, but see how short that was, even though,
well, that's how the ball
on the fly, but he has reach.
Comes down. It's coming down. It's not going up.
It's pretty low. He's not giving his opponent any kind of an advantage.
And look at where he makes contact with the ball. He makes contact with the ball below the net.
Way below the net, yeah.
So when he pushes it up with some topspin, it's going to go up. But then it's going to go down. So he just wants to clear the net a little bit and then go down to the feet.
And that topspin, the lifting of the paddle lifts the ball. So so that was a really good shot. I don't see that much in pickleball professionally. So,
and he just hit it into the net.
well, let's go back up and see. Let's go back and look at his follow through on that one. Open face, and okay, so frame at a time, that one. Frame at a time, the follow through. So frame. So notice it's vertical there, but now look at, he's tilting it up, tilting it up, tilting it up. It's like 45 degrees, 30 degrees. Keep going. Look at his follow through. His follow through is with the paddle facing up. So he's not getting, you know, he's transitioning from punch to try and, you know, punching toward the net to hitting it straight up in the air. You know, so if he mistimes that, he's going to get too much lift. And you got too much lift, not enough punch. The lift, you know, the lift doesn't move it forward. And he had no punch, so it didn't get it. It didn't go over the net. Didn't get as, you know, far as the net. That's another, again, a classic one. You gotta follow through in the direction you're trying to get the ball to go. If you want the ball to go straight up in the air, his follow through is perfect. Slice. That was a top spin. Nice indeed. That was a flat shot. Left arm up.
Here comes the overhead.
Right. See what he does here as he crosses left arm over.
He's in the air. You can see that he's
watching the ball. He's watching the ball. Very good.
He's
He's doing a scissors kick kind of a thing there, crossing his feet over to keep balance. His left arm is coming across his stomach a bit, chest, across his chest. Great counter rotation. And as a result, the ball goes right in the direction he's aiming at. Very nicely done.
And they continue to push it to Scott Moore, person in the white here. And now he slowed it down. Scott's hit a ball that didn't have much pace to it, and Steve couldn't handle it. Hit it right into the net.
Couldn't see his follow through, so we don't know what happened there.
Yeah, well, Scott Moore, he hit that overhead, but then he slowed the pace down with this shot right here. He slowed it down. See. You got Brian coming in because he's saying, "Oh, this is a soft ball coming in."
So now the backhand's got to get it.
And the backhand, and the change of pace probably caused that ball to hit the net.
Well, did he slice the ball back over? Go back up to see if he.
You can't really see it.
No, back up. Two people. Back up 2 hits. 1 hit. There's 2 hits. So was that the shot that he's about to hit here? Is this a slice? Yes, it's a slice, a major slice. So that's going to slow way down. So he's got to provide all the power at this end. And if he misread how slow it was coming, it's really easy to misread it and not supply enough power, which is probably what happened.
Look at it. It just hit
and it's a backhand as well.
It just hit the top of the net. So, you know, it could have rolled over.
But you don't want to hit for 2 millimeters above the top of the net. You don't aim for that. You aim for like know, 6 inches over, or a foot over. Nice square stance. Nice big follow through. Fast midcourt. Good. Nice big follow through there. Keeps his opponent back with a fairly deep shot. Pace on that.
Yeah. See, Scott Moore here, he's giving some heat. He's right here.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's coming.
The ball's like, too high. The ball's too high. Yeah.
He's forcing him back.
Yeah. It wasn't a successful dink, basically.
Where he's trying, you know, the object of the game is to get it soft into the court, right into the kitchen. And so when it comes to you with that much pace,
you don't want to overhit it. So the mistake is to underhit it. Yeah.
You can't overhit it, and so you underhit it, and it goes into the net. He's not trying to make a passing shot or anything.
No, I know, but he was time pressure. It's very hard to get the right amount of heat on it back. Nice deep serve.
That's a very deep serve.
Yeah.
And that's a good return.
And
Scott had to step back.
And he has to run in to get there in time. Now, that's interesting doing the cross court on his person on his side, his half court. Still hadn't come in yet. Would have been good shot to the feet, perhaps. Slice. Slice. Whoopsie. Great crossover. Great crossover. Nice back pedal overhead and crossed his left arm over beautifully.
I don't know. I think Scott Moore is about 6'1", 6'2". So, to try and get it over his head, very difficult task, because he can cover a lot of ground and he can get up, as you can see. Well,
if he hadn't backpedaled as well as he did, it would have been a great shot. But the backpedaling was perfect. So.
Yeah, look at that slice. Look at how he's going to slice this.
Yeah.
He's up. He slices it. And he watches the ball. He watches the ball hit his paddle. See, look at that.
Right.
Look at his head.
And he's still looking down after ball contact, which is
looking at the ball. Do that frame at a time.
Yeah, classic. Look at he's still looking down. Yeah.
Still looking down. Classic. The ball is off his paddle.
Left, and he's still looking down. That's classic tennis stroke. Classic.
Still looking down. He's still not looking at the ball. He's looking down at the court.
Yeah.
Now he's got the side of the ball where it's going. Right. The ball is now halfway to the net.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, they're putting a lot of spin. There's some back spin to get that low, and he just misjudged it.
Okay.
Oh, he got it on the fly.
Yeah, but check the follow through. Very short follow through. Look at that. Look at that. Almost no follow through.
There isn't any follow through.
Well, it's maybe a foot. Maybe a foot and a half, maybe.
Boom.
But without the follow through, the purpose of the follow through is to maintain racket, I should say paddle head speed in the contact zone, because you can't always time the contact perfectly. So by having the big follow through, you get a constant velocity through the contact zone. So wherever you hit it, you get the right amount of hit. Nice deep serve. Nice deep serve.
Nice deep serve.
Yeah. It went in. And survey says, yeah.
It went in and it went in the net.
Now, I was talking to? I was talking to a 5.0 player.
Oh, no, that was out. Look at.
Oh, was out?
Yeah, because Glen Peterson served it.
Yeah, and so that whoever serves next is not, if he didn't serve next, then.
See here, he's serving and it's going.
So who serves it next? Yeah.
Oh, that's a really deep serve.
That looks like it was long even now that I look at it. Okay, so let's see. So fast forward, see who serves it next.
Yeah. Scott serves it next. And look at
there you go, right.
And he's serving his backhand serve. He has been hitting he's been hitting forehand serves. Now he's changing it up. Here's a backhand serve.
So have you talked to anybody about why they do a backhand serve instead of a forehand serve?
No, I haven't. I think they do it just to change it up, to give him a different spin.
I'd be curious to hear what somebody has to say about why they do that.
Here, both of them are throwing a lot of spin on it. He's taking it off on the fly, not letting it bounce. And Glen is pushing it right back to him, right over the net. I just don't understand this shot. You get no advantage when you hit the ball directly to the person across the net from you. It's always short, and you've got a higher risk of it failing, because to get it over the net, you can hit the tip of the net. You got to get you pretty exact.
The net is higher at the end. It's
higher at the end, yeah.
Center, right. So that's a little harder, but you're into the guy's backhand. So you have to judge is the guy's backhand.
Oh, that's why they're doing it. They're hitting to his backhand.
It could be that's it. You'd have to look. You'd have to look at the guy's percentage on his backhand side to see if it's worth. That's the reason to do it. Now there, he just won a point off his backhand. So.
Well, he got Scott when he was moving.
Right. Exactly.
And he hit, and Scott hit it too high. Look at it; it's too high.
Right.
Well, he's also putting some topspin on it. He's whipping it. He's whipping the ball.
Go back to the previous shot. Go back to the previous shot. There we go. So now coming over. So he hits a really good angle. So look at how much angle there is, and there's a movement over to get the ball, but he just stays there and slowly. He's too slow going back. He wasn't ready. He was moving. Now, was that the reason? Well, I think it's partly maybe he was jammed. Was he jammed? Go back and show the contact where he missed the shot there. See, was that a jam? Why did he miss that shot?
I think it came back to him too
fast. It was just a fast shot.
Oh, look at.
Oh, check with the direct.
He thought it was going to be a forehand right here.
Exactly. He's really quickly moving his paddle over to get a forehand, right? And then when it comes to his backhand, he can't get it back over to his backhand side in time. Yeah, that's a very difficult shot to then switch and change and get that. Yeah.
Well, that's why he missed it.
Yeah.
He anticipated. He anticipated it going to his forehand, but it wasn't correct.
Yeah. Right. So he committed, which is not a bad thing to do sometimes, especially when that was a high ball, and so he knew it was going to come fast, so he sort of committed. Yeah, it's hard to blame him for that. That's a tough call. I don't know what I'd have done. I suppose I could have kept the paddle neutral and waited to see whether it was a forehand or backhand. Nice shot. Cost it to pump up. Nice shot. Uh-oh.
He just got it too high. He jammed him. Okay. Here it comes. He jammed him, which made him go a little too high. Right there.
And so you said that was a jam there, and that popped it up
right there, and that's all she wrote, right down to his feet.
Okay. So check out. So the one he hits into the net. Check out his follow through. Check out how long his follow through is there.
He didn't have enough time to react.
No, he reacted. He moves it forward, but then he stops the follow through. He reacted fine. See that? Got the paddle going really quickly, but then he stopped it after contact. So his paddle moves forward less than a foot after ball contact.
Look at his weight. His weight is moving to his right, and he's going backwards.
Yeah.
So
it was like do a frame at a time here. Once he gets over,
it was a desperation. It was a desperation shot.
Right. Well, frame at a time. Frame at a time. If he's being jammed, is he being jammed, or is it? No, it's out of his reach. He's got to reach over, so he's torquing his body around to get it. So there he's making contact. Now,
but he's off balance. He's not balanced here.
Right. So he's hitting
trying to make an off balance shot.
But look at that short follow through. Very short follow through, less than a foot. So he gets no lift. He gets no punch to lift it over. He stops his swing, and the ball doesn't get enough velocity off his paddle. Again, that's happened. I've seen that happen over and over again in this match. In this game, I should say. Nice big follow through there, and it goes a little past the halfway through the service box. Good. Big backswing. Short follow through because he wants the ball to go short. See, that was a relatively big follow through. He got nice and deep. Okay, there, that one in the net. Let's watch his follow through. Does he have a big follow through or not?
No, he was off balance
No,
there
no.
too.
Yeah, but check the follow through. So frame at a time. See, almost no follow through. If you don't have a follow through, you don't get any punch. You don't have any punch. You frame at a time here. Wait, so up to contact, and look at that. So it moves about 4 or 5 inches. It's like 6 inches forward. No punch. You get no punch on that.
Well, I think it's because he was off balance. And,
really, you think it's off balance? Show me. Point out what part of his body is off balance there. He looks perfectly balanced. He looks perfectly balanced there. He's perfectly balanced. He's balanced between his body is right between his 2 feet. He's doing a nice counter rotation with his left arm to keep his right shoulder from moving much. He just stops his follow through, so he gets no punch, doesn't go over the net.
Okay, I'll agree.
You watch, yeah, you just watch over and over again. All these shots that are like that, typical, I'd say probably 80% of the shots that don't go over the net that are sort of, marginally unforced errors, it's because the follow through isn't enough. And it's just a fear, I think, of hitting it too hard and popping it up. But it's better to pop it up and have a chance of getting it back than hitting it into the net. Nice deep serve to the backhand. Great return. It's into the net. Relatively high. What's he going to do? No, that. Oh, nice drop.
Well, he slowed it down. He's not putting any.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, he no forward motion at all on his pad. No follow through at all. See, no follow through.
In fact,
he blocks it.
He blocks it back. He pushes it.
That's because his opponent has hit it pretty hard, so he doesn't need to put any follow through on it. The only time you need to follow through is if you got a slow ball coming in. Nice cross court. Nice cross court back. Moves his opponent around. Nice. Tad down the middle guy. Nope. He goes
to the backhand.
Low bounce though. Nice low bounce.
Yep.
Okay, check the follow through, Jack. This is your job from now on, is to check the follow through. So notice one thing about the follow through. It's dropping toward the end. If you try to lift the ball, you want to keep raising the paddle up so that the follow through is up. He's dropping the paddle after he rises initially after he hits it, but the fact that it eventually ends up dropping means that he's slowing the rise down after contact. And that means that he's probably slowing the ball at contact and not getting enough punch or enough lift. See, nice big follow through. Where does the ball go? Nice and deep, way deep. Nicely done. No follow through on that, but he's a fast incoming ball, so he can block it back. That's a slow ball. It's a decent follow through.
You can see Scott right here with that underspin. Just pushing it over the net. Been slowing it down.
Very low bounce, slow forward motion. Nice.
Yeah, he's putting some pace on it, some top spin, and jams Scott. That ball was way too high. And
go back or show ball contact.
That's because Glen is trying to speed up the ball. And when he sped up the ball, it got too high, and that was it. Lights out.
It's not a bad idea to do it, but what complicated matters is who's going to hit this ball. They're both swinging, right?
Well, yeah, that's also.
They're both swinging. It's way too high in the air. Who's hitting it?
Yeah.
And when he got jammed, did he jam himself? Was he leaning? Was he walking? Was he crossing over to the center, or did he? So he's in the. Oh yes, he's moving over to the right.
Oh yeah,
he jams himself.
Yeah.
So why is he moving over to the right?
Well, he doesn't know who's going to hit it. Probably, who's going to hit it?
I guess my guess is his opponent's been pulled toward the sideline, so he's got to cover the middle. Is what he's thinking.
Yeah, he's got to cover the middle. That's where he's going. He's covering the middle.
Yeah, but he's a quick guy. You'd think that he didn't have to move that far in to cover it. I don't know. and his partner was coming back on court. So
well, again, we're watching this
tough call.
motion.
Exactly, exactly. I feel for them. I'm sure it was a hard point.
Mm.
So was he going in? Yes, he was coming into that. His forward momentum was forward, and then he had to try and stop and go to the right.
Yeah, he tried to stop.
So should he have come in is the question. Should he have been coming in? Back it up and see if he had time to come in. See, he's coming in on a short ball. That's terrible.
Well, but he's hitting it off the, he's not letting it bounce. And so he doesn't have enough time.
No, go back and pause it. Back more, back again. Yes, pause it. So, okay, so wait, let the ball go up to the ball contact and pause it. Okay, so pause it there. So notice the near court, the guys are going to be both at the non-volley on very soon, like within a half second. They're going to both be at the line, but yet they're set, and he hits the ball and tries to come into the net. You know, it's just not a good idea. It's not a good idea. No. It's a ballsy move, but didn't work in their favor that time. Your opponent's a good shot. Cross court because his opponent's in the center of the court. Nice cross court. He's going to do a major cross court. Yeah. A little high. Nice slow down.
And that was out. Look at that. He's trying to put some spin on it.
Right. Again, the checks to pause it. So his paddle is facing upward. You go one more frame, and he's twisting and he's turning it under. So he's putting backspin on it, which slows it down and keeps it low. When you slice it like that, that tends to keep it low and doesn't give you much punch. So that's kiss of death. That's why there's no forward momentum there. That's why it goes into the net. The slice keeps it low, doesn't allow it to have much punch. And there's no reason to do that. His opponents were both at the back line. He didn't need to do that. Now maybe he was trying to do it to get an advantage, force him to rush up to the net to get a short ball, but it just, percentage-wise, didn't work out for him. Nice deep approach shot. Yeah, so deep approach shot. I think we didn't get to see the stroke, so we can't comment on that. But deep approach shot, probably some pace to the backhand. Tough shot. Get past mid service box. Nice deep return. Gives him plenty of time to come in. Trying to keep it short. Does he? He does.
Look how far over Scott goes. He's tracking the ball and taking it away. You know.
Well, he's got four, and yeah, he's got four, and he's like 3 or 4 feet inside his partner's box there.
That's right.
Well,
let's see if that works out for him.
That's a good changeup.
Nope, it doesn't work out for him at all. See, and look at, he whips the ball. He's whipping it from here. He's trying to make up for. It's low. It's below the net.
Right. So frame at a time. So do a frame at a time on that.
It's like, nope, I'm not going to touch that ball.
Back it up and do a frame at a time. Okay, pause it. So at that point, he's got a fairly vertical paddle, but he's rolling the paddle. Look at that. He's really rolling his wrist over. That's really a bad idea. He's trying to time the angle of his paddle at contact. And he clearly mistimed it because the ball goes long. You roll your wrist over. He rolled his wrist over rapidly in the contact zone. Kiss of death.
Yeah. Well, is he rolling his wrist or is his arm?
Watch it. So stop it. Stop it before, back up with, so stop it before he hits the ball. Stop it, stop it, stop it. So go frame at a time and look at the angle of the paddle. See that? Look at, stop. Oops, too far. Go back with the comment. Back. You see the paddle is facing upwards. It's got an open paddle face. It's up toward the sky. See that? It's facing up. So he's trying to rapidly roll the wrist over and time the ball contact so that it's at the right angle when he hits the ball with a really rapid wrist roll. So watch now, frame at a time and watch the wrist roll happen. He's rolling it forward. One more.
Well, that's the wrist roll right there.
Yeah, keep going.
From here to there.
And a couple more.
Right
see, look at there. Look at really rapid wrist roll. That happened very quickly. You can't do that. It's just kiss of death. You cannot time that. Nobody can time that. Federer can't time that, which is why he doesn't do that. Right? That's why, he contacted the ball. Was coming a little faster than he expected. He contacted with the paddle face up, and then the ball goes long. Classic. Doesn't work. Won't work for anybody. Like I say, Federer couldn't do that. Make that work. I used to try doing that, and I've mostly given it up. Once in a while, I have this, remnant habit where I do that, and I go, yep, still doesn't work. Never going to work. Shouldn't do this anymore. Stop it, Chris. Stop it. Nice and deep. Plenty of time to get in. Keeps his opponent from coming up. Huh? Nice short shot. Okay, check the follow through, Jack. Do the color commentary. Almost no follow through. Look at that. And look at the face. The paddle face is pointing upward at the end of his follow through. Pointed up. So if he hits it a little too far out in front, he's hitting it up instead of hitting it forward toward the net. So if he's hitting it more up than hitting it forward, then it ain't going over. It's just going up and short. Classic. I see people doing that every day of every game I ever play. Somebody does that. You get lucky and sometimes it goes over and think, I just got to practice it. Nope. You just say, I'd be really, really, really lucky every time. A little bit of a pop-up, but his opponent doesn't get in time to do major things with it. So he got lucky there. Nice cross, low bounce. Relatively low bounce.
I see he's trying to get it right between them.
Well, it made your pace, and he placed it absolutely perfectly distance-wise between them. So where does Pink Shirt start to move across?
Steve.
Steve, where does Steve start to move across? There. See, he's to the left side of his. Look at that. He's to the left side of his box. So he starts forward, but he's late getting over. He's late going over. He's stopped. He's planted his foot. And now he can't move his right foot anymore because he's already leaning forward. So all he can do is reach. That's a very tough reach, as tall as he is. And look at his follow through. His follow through is horizontal. So he got absolutely no lift from his follow through. See that horizontal follow through? Another rookie mistake. Never, if you want the ball to rise and you have a vertical paddle face of contact, you have to have a low to high follow through. But again, he's probably worried that he's going to pop it up, so he doesn't want to do that. Nice big backswing. Nice big follow through. And as a result, nice deep return.
He took pace off that ball. See, this is coming back with some heat right here.
Heat, right, took pace off.
But he just
no follow through at all, which is appropriate when it's coming with pace.
Dinked it right over and
and check the follow through again. Again, almost no follow through and paddle face rotating upward. Look at that. See, the paddle face is rotating up. See, he's rotating up. So if he contacts it too far out in front, he gets a lot of lift and no forward punch. And then of course it doesn't make it to the net. I've seen that happen, what, about 20, 30 times so far in this video we've been watching. Yeah, we're only halfway done.
Yeah, well, I think, why don't we stop right here, because this is, I think we've gone over an hour.
Okay, and well, what does it say?
We're at 14:21, and this is a 36-minute match.
Yeah, and we've slowed it down, backed it up, so we've probably gone at least an hour.
Yeah, we've talked about all the points. So let me stop sharing my screen. And there you are.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot, Chris.
Yeah.
And don't go away. I'll talk to you offline. I'll send you the link.
Yeah.
And I'll be posting links in the description below if anybody wants to check out.
Okay. And in summary, probably at least 80% of the lost points were the people not following through or having too much of a under rotation as part of the follow through and hitting it out a little too far in front, so that they've under rotated, the paddle's under rotated with a face up, and they get no punch, and it doesn't make it to that. Probably 80% of the mistakes with that.
And you have a segment on follow through, don't you, on your YouTube channel?
Yeah. So I got a bunch of individual pickleball coaching things, whatever you want to call them. I start with my philosophy of pickleball. I start. The second thing is basically how to construct a stroke to minimize errors. And these errors we saw here were typical of the errors you get if your strokes aren't constructed to minimize errors. So I have a big long thing on that. And then I talk about changing grips for people who don't use a continental grip as their grip in pickleball. Continental grip's appropriate in pickleball if you get a lot of low bounces and you don't have to change grips. But if people you play slam it and you get a whole bunch of high bounce balls, you'd have to do what you do in tennis if you want to have an easy shot, which you got to change grips. Eastern forehand, Eastern backhand. 90-degree change between the forehand and backhand. If you're at the back line, you have time to do that. If you're at the front, you use the continental grip. If you're up at near the kitchen. So I have a whole segment on that, and I have a few other things as well. Follow through and so forth. Yeah. But yeah, most of the errors I think were just, not following through. It's like a lot of life. If you don't follow through with things, it's hard to be successful.
There you go. We'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. Okay, Jack.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
See you later, Chris.
We'll see you very shortly.